Okay. So in today's session, we'll discuss what are the things you have to consider while creating an LWC component. And we'll see by creating small, very basic LWC component, and we'll see the folder structure of an LWC component. So prior to that, the few things you have to remember while creating LWC component. The first point is, so the LWC component name, whatever you are giving, it should be start with a small case letter. Starts with lowercase letters. So the second point you have to remember is it should not contain special characters. It should not contain special characters except underscore. Okay, underscore you can use. Okay, and should be a unique. So with the same name, there should not be a duplicate components. Okay, that means like we can say name should be unique for each and every component. Okay, and this component should not ends with underscore. Okay. The next you have to remember is like we should not use special character in between means we should not use hyphens or in spaces between the component name. You should not split like that. If you want to split like if you want to give a meaningful name to the component, you can use underscore in between the component. These things you can remember. Okay, so the next thing is very important thing, how to create this LWC component and the basic structure of this LWC component we'll see. So in a previous session, I explained you how to connect Salesforce with the VS Code, means a Visual Studio Code, and I explained you how to install Lightning Studio Chrome extension as well. To save the time, in this session, I'm not going through Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you want, you can do same thing in Visual Studio Code as well. For the simplicity's sake, I am explaining the concepts in Lightning Studio. So as you can see here, whenever you log in into the Salesforce, here you can see Lightning extension, Lightning Studio. So whenever you click on that, it will take you into this page. So here you can see all the existing Apex classes, existing Lightning Web Components as well. Now, initially, like I'm going to create a new Lightning Web Component here. So to create a new Lightning Web Component, simply you can go to File and you can click on New Lightning Web Component. So after this, you can give a component name. So here I'll give component name like hello world. Let's suppose, sorry, hello. Okay. So the next it is asking me to add, like let's suppose if you want to include SCSS file or include SVG files. So if you want to include them, you can include it. By default, those are not required. I'm not including them. Whereas coming to the ease exposed, I am making it as available. Okay. The next master label. So I'm not giving any master label as of now. And so whatever the Lightning Web Component you are creating here, where it should be available. So these are the different targets. So whatever the targets you select here, on those places, you can use your Lightning Web Component. So I want to make it available for Lightning app page, home page, record page, and the next Lightning tab also I have to include it. And wherever you want, you can include those places. The next, I am clicking on deploy. So remember, if you want to include CSS and SVG files, you can include them. There's no issues. But so if any additional styling you want to give, then only you can select CSS. Whereas later also you can create CSS and SVG files if needed. Okay. So now I'm clicking on deploy. So whenever you click on deploy here, the new Lightning Web Component will be created with the empty data. So here you can see the new Lightning Web Component with this folder structure. Remember, In a LWC, whenever you create a Lightning Web Component, so here by default, three components will be created. So three files will be created, sorry, I can say. HTML file will be created, JavaScript file, and meta XML file. Okay, so coming to the HTML file, here, whatever the user interface you want to implement, you can implement that user interface. So, so in the UI, whatever the data, operations you want to perform on the data, whatever the logics or whatever the functions from like wherever you want to fetch the data. So in order to pass the data, to make a UI live, so we can take help of JavaScript file. There we can implement several functions, mostly like handling events and passing the data to the component, like a lot of things we can do with the JavaScript here. Okay, so logic we can handle in a JavaScript, we can say. Coming to the XML file, it contains the complete configurational data. So configurational data means where this should be available, whether this should be visible or not. That complete configurational things we can see in a XML file. So we'll walk through each and every file. So initially I'm going through this meta XML file. So remember, so if you want to create a new CSS file or SVG file, you can do that by clicking here. So if you want to create a new file, you can click on new file. You can give a name. Let's suppose I'm giving hello world itself, same name, and here I'll select like a CSS or SVG. So whatever the type you select here, by default with the type, the new function, like a new file will be created in the same folder structure. I'm not creating it as of now. Okay. So now I'm navigating to hello world meta XML file. If you see in the meta XML file, it shows API version, what is the current API version which we are using, that will be displayed here. The next is exposed equals to true. So remember, it's a very, very important XML tag. The purpose of this tag is if this is true, then only you can able to see this component in a Salesforce environment. Remember, sometimes if you deploy a component, if it is not available, initially you have to check this one, whether it is exposed or not. Once it is exposed, the next we have to set up a targets. So the purpose of targets is in the Salesforce environment, on which places you have to use this Lightning Web Component that you can define in the tag. So Lightning App Page, it means you can use this component in an app page. The home page means you can use this component in a home page as well. Record page means any record page also you can use this Lightning tab. In the tab it also you can use this Lightning Web Component. Like this, we can set up a targets. Okay, so the next I'm navigating to JavaScript file. So by default, it won't contain any data. But in the future, if you want to define any functions or any variable kind of thing, we can do that. Okay, we'll see that one as well soon. Okay, so now what I'll do is simply, yeah. So in this template, see, let's suppose if you go to HTML file, everything will be defined in a template tag. Remember. Okay, so now in this, what I'll do is in a previous session, I told you. So whenever you want to implement something, you can go to Salesforce Lightning Design System. Okay, so now let's suppose what I'll do is I want to create a Lightning card. Okay, Lightning card in LWC. Okay, I'm clicking this one. So by default, it will take us into developers.salesforce.com. From this, I'll take this one. Okay, so in the component library, we'll be having a lot of things. So you can see lightning code. Which type of code you want, you can take that code by default. Okay. So if you don't want to remember anything at the time, what you can do is you can go to this documentation, component library documentation. From there, which type of component you want, directly you can take it. Okay. So lightning input, let's suppose I don't want this one. I need a basic card. Okay. So that's why I'm going with the basic card. Okay. So in this, like if you see this, how it will looks and everything you can see in the preview. Okay. So now here I'm not focusing on that much. Simply I'm taking and I'm copying this one. I'll paste it there. Okay. Lightning card. Sorry, this is opened. Okay. Lightning card I have taken. So I'll close this lightning tag as well. Okay. Lightning card. Okay. I'm closing this one. So inside this, I'll take one div. Okay. I won't save it. After writing everything, I'll save it. Div. Simple text I'll write here. Okay. In this div, I'll write a simple text. Then hello world. Okay. We close this div tag and I'll save this. Okay. I'm saving this one. So whenever we save this one, this will be deployed into our system. Means it will be deployed into Salesforce Arc. So once you do this, what you can do is next go to Salesforce. After going to Salesforce, go to App Manager. From the App Manager, you can create a new Lightning app. I'm giving name like Learning LWC. Okay, Learning LWC app. I'm giving like this. Okay. So the next what I'll do is I'll give a developer name. By default, this will become as it is an API name. Okay. The next what I'll do is I'm clicking on next. So I'm not setting up these things by default. We'll see later. Okay. Just I'm creating an app without any navigation items and anything. Just by default, like I want to add account app. Okay. I'm clicking on next now. So I want to give this app access to just the system admins as of now, and I'm saving and finishing this application. Okay. So once you have created an app, what you can do is you can go to app builder. So you can see Lightning App Builder. I'm going to this Lightning App Builder. Okay. So now here I'll going to create a new Lightning app page. So whatever the page you want to create, you can create it. So for now, I'll create a Lightning app page. Okay. So for whatever the app we created, for that I'll add this app page. Okay. I'm clicking on next now. Lightning, or else we can say learning LWC page. Okay. I'll give this name. So whatever the type of thing you want to take it, you can take it. I'll keep it like a 3 region one. Okay, clicking on done. So here, if you want to add any components, you can add it. So I'll add that hello world component. You can see by default, this hello world and weather API components are available. Why it is coming here means we kept is exposed equals to true. So that is the one reason. Second one is in the targets we have set up, it should be available for Lightning app page. That's why it is coming here. So in the targets, if you remove Lightning app page, so if you remove the tag, this component won't be available here. Remember, that's very, 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 very important. Okay. So now here I'm keeping this component and I'm saving this one. So I want to activate this one. So here you can see while activating it. So in the second navigation, you can see Lightning experience. So from this Lightning experience, for whatever the app you want to add it, you can add that one. Okay. Learning LWC app. For this app, I'm going to add this Lightning app page. Add page to app. Okay. So in this, I want to add it in a top. Okay. So that's why I'm adding learning LWC page first. It means whenever you open this tab by default, sorry, whenever you open this learning LWC app, learning LWC page will be comes in a first tab. Okay. Now I'm saving these changes. Once you save this one, I'm saving this. If needed any activations, you can do that. So I'm not doing that. I'm closing it. Now everything looks good. I'm coming back. Once you come back here, so if you from here, if you search learning LWC app, okay, I'm opening this app. So whenever you open the app, you can see by default this lightning card will be displayed. Okay, the card name is hello. You can see here the card name is hello, and title we kept like a hello. That's why for this card title is coming like hello. So now if you keep if you make this text as a strong text, you can make it, or any text you want to make it, you can make it. I'm saving this without quotation. So it got saved. You can see if you refresh this page, this will get updated again. It's not yet updated. It will update. Okay, we remove comments, right? It will take some time, though it will update. Okay, so you can clear the cache and you can see the changes. But the whatever the changes we did here, that should be replicated. Without comments, this hello world should come there. Okay, that is the thing. I'll try to deploy it once again. Okay, so keep it aside. So far, what we discussed is, so what will be the folder structure of LWC? So the majorly will be having these three files. So if you need any additional files, you can create an additional CSS and SVG files as well if needed to you. Okay. Whereas remember guys, coming to the Salesforce styling, most of the times we'll avoid to use external CSS. Why means we'll be having SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System. From there itself, we'll be having innate styling. Like we can take style classes from there so that those styles we can use very easily without writing external CSS. Whereas if you want to write any additional JavaScript files, if you want to create additional JavaScript file for the same component, you can do that as well. Along with these, additionally, you can write a test class as well. Test.js means a just class we can say. If you want to write, you can write that class as well. The next step, data binding. So coming to the data binding, the purpose of data binding is to send the data between HTML to JavaScript is said as data binding. Means passing the data between the components is said as data binding simply. Okay. So coming to the LWC, we'll be having like a one-way data binding, and the second type is two-way data binding. Okay. These two things will be having. So coming to the one-way data binding, we can send the data in one way only. So it means we can send the data from JavaScript to HTML only once. But both the ways communication won't be possible. So to make you understand that, I'll create a simple example so that you'll understand much clearly. Now what I'll do is, yeah, I'll go to this class itself. Now what I'll do is, initially I'll go to this LWC class. Okay. So in the JavaScript file, what I'll do is inside this, I'll define one variable. Okay. Let's suppose I'm defining variable like greet. So in the greet, what I'll do is I'll write a method hello Welcome to learning LWC sessions. Let's suppose I'm writing this text. Now, what I want to do is I want to use I want to accept this data in the UI. Means in a HTML file, I want to access this data. Okay, so to access the data, what I can do is, so here as of now, I'm not using any styling and anything. Directly, I'll take that one. Okay, so remember in a LWC, if you want to fetch the data dynamically, means if you want to see the data which is available in JavaScript into the HTML, we can pass or we can write that variable name inside this curly brackets. If you write some variable in a curly bracket means this will be a readable data. Means we are reading the data from JavaScript. Now, what I'll do is I want to read the data which is available in this JS file. Variable name is greet. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll copy this word here. So we have to specify this variable in the this brackets. Great. Okay. And I'm saving this one. Once we save these changes will replicate in a CRM. So it will take some time to replicate it. I haven't changed it. Okay. What we have to do is on such cases, we have to do hard refresh. Not yet replicated. It will replicate actually. It's because of browser cache. So now what I'll do is I'll go to session settings and I'll change that setting. So for the development sake, you can turn on this setting. I'm going to session settings. So here you can see enable caching and auto complete on login page. So here I'm turning off this one. Enable secure and persistent browser caching to improve performance. I'm turning up this one. Remember, in a real time in a production, you should not do this kind of things. Okay. So to load the data quickly or to see the data quickly in an output, I am turning up this one. But you should not do that kind of thing in real time production. Okay. Enable content delivery control for Lightning web component. Okay, I'm turning off this one. It is the main one. You can turn off this one. This will work. Okay. Enable caching and auto complete on login page. Okay. I'm not touching that one. Simply I'll save these changes. Okay. I'll refresh the page once again. Running LWC app page. Okay. Directly I'm opening the tab page. You can see hello world. This is the first line. And the second one is this one. Hello, welcome to learning LWC sessions. Here you can see if you go to the component, so we are not specified any data explicitly here. So this data is coming from JavaScript file. In the JavaScript file, we'll be having this variable. From this variable, this is this HTML file is fetching the data. So to fetch the data, so here we are passing the variable in the curly brackets. So this is said as one-way data binding. It means here we are fetching the data from JavaScript to HTML. That is said as one-way data binding. The next step will be having two-way data binding. Next concept is two-way data binding. Means synchronization will be there. So this will fetch the data from both the sides. Okay. So now it can be able to fetch the data from both the sides. So for that, what I'll do is I'll create one lightning input to make you understand how this will work. I'll take help of lightning input. So if you don't know how to define this lightning input and everything, what you can do is simply you can go to here component library, as we already opened it. In the component library here, you can see input. You can type input. Sorry, it's type. It's coming there. Okay. Here we have to search actually. Input. You can see this is the input. So I'm selecting this one. Which type of lighting input you want? You can select that one. So here you can see the preview, right? So which type of input you want? You can select that input. Text input default, text input advanced, like that. You can see a lot of examples. So I'll take this one, default one. So I'm feeling this one is easy. That's why I'll take this one. Okay. So for that, what you can do is default basic. You can see this is the class and everything will be defined here. Okay. So now what I do is simple. I'll take this complete structure so that I can able to see the same thing. Okay. Control C. So in the lightning here itself, I'll paste this one. Simple. Here I'm not doing anything. Just I'm taking one div tag. In this I'm specifying a style, whatever available there. Now I'm taking just lightning input. And I'm saying this lightning input type is text and label. Name for this input field is enter some text. And here I'm closing this one. I'll save this one. Save. So whenever we save this one, this will be deployed into the Salesforce application. I'm coming to here, close this one, and I'll refresh this page. You can see here, enter some text. Here, some boxes coming to enter the text. Let's suppose if I enter something, okay. So what I want to do is, I want to append this text on beside of this hello, welcome to learning LWC sessions. Okay. So whatever the text I'll enter here, that should automatically comes beside this one, or else this field or this value should be updated there. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, we'll try to make it possible. Now what I will do is whenever, so what we have to do to achieve that. So remember, like what I am trying to achieve is, so if there is nothing data, here output will be hello, welcome to learning LWC sessions. Whereas if we enter some text here like this, so this text should be modified with the given text. That thing I have to achieve now. So to achieve that, what we can do is we have to take help of LWC events. We have to take help of LWC events. So now here I'll add additional parameters. Value equals to. So here I'm going to add value attribute. So value I have to consider this greet variable value. Okay. So whatever the value available in the greet variable, that should display this value. Okay. So now value equals to, I am saying greet. So to display the value, we have to specify this one. Okay. The next, whenever this value gets changed, we have to update the greet variable value. So for that purpose, I am taking help of on change event. Okay. So coming to this on change event, whenever this value gets changed, I will call change handler. Okay. So I'm taking help of change handler. Chalo. This is my method. So far we defined everything. Now what we have to do is we have to define this function, on change function in the JavaScript side. Okay. So to do that, what we can do is under this greeting, I am defining that variable. Change handler, like whatever the name we have given here. The best practice is don't type the values every time. Simply copy paste those values. Okay. So change handler, I'm selecting this one like this. You can paste it here. Okay. Once you do this, we are going to create a function. I'm giving function name like event. Sorry. So in this function, I'm taking parameter as a event. Okay. So the next, what I'll do is, so whenever like change handler means whenever the change happens in the input text field, we have to update this greet variable value. So we have to update this variable value. So to update this value, so we have to consider that variable in the current context. That's why we'll specify this dot greet equals to event dot target dot value. We have to specify like this. So that whatever the value gets updated, that will be considered as this variable value. I'm saving this one now. This got saved. Now what I'll do is I'll go to our environment. Now I'm removing this one. I'll refresh this page. So by default, this text is coming here. So we said this is a default text. That's why it is coming here. So you can see if you remove this text here, that's disappearing. Okay. And here what I'll do is, hey, hi, welcome to session. It means, so whatever the data we are passing in the file, it means we are modifying the variable of JavaScript and that is immediately replicating in UI. So whatever the text we are giving here, by default, that text is populating into UI. It means this is said as a two-way data binding. Okay. Two-way data binding means there should be a synchronization between JavaScript and HTML. So if you modify the data of the JavaScript, it should replicate immediately in a JavaScript. If you see this example, this is a very straightforward example. Here you can see. So whenever change handler called, what we are doing is whatever the value we are entering there, we are updating that value in the UI. Okay. By default, that variable value will be the default value, that is that this value. So whenever this is updating, that is updating immediately in a HTML. This is nothing but two-way data binding. So with this, I'm concluding today. Tomorrow we'll discuss more on this. And one more thing, like if you want to understand this concept very clearly, we'll be having trailhead model. I'll share you that trailhead model in the comments of the video. Thank you. With this, I'm ending this session.